and welcome back to another episode of Just Our Luck podcast. I'm your host, Key, and today I am with Joshua.
Yes, sir. Hello, everyone.
How are you today on this lovely Tuesday?
I am fantastic. A lot of stuff to do, but I had to stop and spend some time with Key Money.
I appreciate that. Booked and busy. You gotta make time for the little people, I guess. So, so I have some rapid fire questions for you. You know, no context, pick one or the other, just to get an idea, you know, what you're about. So the first question is entrepreneur or corporate America?
Entrepreneur all the way.
Okay. Second question, college or real world experience?
Oh, you know, the more I think about college and think back, and I think about these loans, I'm thinking real world experience is better. But,
right.
But then again, college does give you a lot of experience, not professionally, but like socially.
Yeah.
So either one, they have pros and cons to it. So I don't know. I'll pick college.
Okay. And last question, suburbs or urban life?
Ooh. I'm gonna pick suburbs.
Okay.
You can visit the urban life.
This is true. You appreciate the grass and, you know, sidewalks, streets, all that good stuff, I guess. All right, Josh. So how do I know you? I mean, as with everybody else I've been talking to, we went to school together, but you were in a completely different field than me, my friends. Yeah. Actually, maybe, no, one or two other people I knew. But so tell us what the heck you went to school for. Are you still in school? You know, what's the tea?
So I went to Seton Hall for physics, and I got a minor in web design. When I first started Seton Hall, that's not what I went to school for. It was supposed to be a dual degree program with physics and engineering, and my choice of engineering.
Right.
But it didn't work out that way.
Interesting.
So I graduated with my bachelor's in physics and my minor in web design. Okay. So I was part of the College of Arts and Sciences, with two different sections of it.
Yeah. So for physics, was that Bachelor of Arts or Sciences?
That was a Bachelor of Science.
Okay. Because sometimes you think things are science and they're not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Because they had a BA in science too. Where it was, I forget what type it was, but you can get a Bachelor of Arts in a type of science. Maybe like psychology, I guess.
Yeah.
Something like that. But yeah, they had BS or BA.
Okay. So you said you originally came to Seton Hall for physics and engineering, and the engineering part is it's not in there. It's not in that degree. So what happened? You know, did you drop it? Did it drop itself?
Definitely dropped itself. But so my acceptance letter actually said, you've been accepted for a dual degree program in physics and engineering. It's supposed to be a 5-year program. When I got to Seton Hall, I was doing mainly physics courses. And I didn't realize until my junior year, or I didn't find out until my junior year, that Seton Hall doesn't offer any engineering courses at all. Yet the program was a dual degree program with engineering and physics. And what they actually had was a program where you would go to Seton Hall for 3 years, but then you're supposed to transfer to NJIT for the engineering side.
And NJIT is a whole different school, university. Yeah. Okay, so was that detailed when you applied and got into this? Oh.
Not at all. So this is what happened. I thought it was a smooth transition. I thought the schools talked to each other. I thought they already had a plan for like how people transition to and from. Find out my junior year, we had to go to NJIT. Asked how does that work? They said, you have to talk to NJIT about it. So I realized they don't talk to NJIT at all. They have no relation with them. Second thing is, they don't set your curriculum to graduate in 3 years. You had to set that yourself. And the only possible way to graduate in 3 years is to take summer classes, which is extra money that they didn't tell you about.
Right, because scholarship is fall and spring semester, and they make that very clear.
Yeah.
But there is a whole program of people who are like, bet I'll get my master's in engineering in 5 years. It'll be lit. And then you're halfway through your education, and not only you realize you should have been taking more classes, but where you're supposed to be getting your master's is not in the loop.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing. It wasn't even a master's. It was 2 bachelors. Oh. So I was technically going to go to school, undergraduate school twice. One for 3 years and one for 2 years.
And on top of
2 bachelors.
What? So that would have also meant that you probably would have had to apply to NJIT separately.
Yep. More money. Housing is more.
Oh, this is
no scholarships and there's no
ghetto
transitional scholarship. None of that.
You're going to a new school.
So
a brand new school.
I don't even know what I'll be considered. Am I considered a 4th year, a 5th year student?
Right. Like
what happens after the
right, because usually in dual degree, it's like, okay, 4 years, you definitely have your bachelor's. You're just here another year for the master's. But if I'm here for 5 years getting 2 degrees, like...
And then we approached, because I was the only one that felt this way. Literally everybody in my program felt the same way.
Right.
And we're just bamboozled. So we went to the department head, and all he had to say to us was he apologized. He just said sorry. And he was like, we didn't mean for it to be like a false advertisement.
Well, it was.
And I'm like...
And now I'm here.
You should give us our money back. Because CMO was the only school... First of all, CMO was my first school. Second of all, it wasn't the only school that I got a scholarship for. I also got a scholarship to Hofstra University in upstate New York.
Right.
For even more money, and it was for strictly mechanical engineering. And that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a mechanical engineer.
Right.
Oh. So, like, I could have went there, but then I wouldn't have known you.
Exactly. You know, everything happens for a reason, but why does the reason have to be because my university bamboozled me?
Exactly.
And I get a sorry. You better get on the phone with someone from NJIT. Tell me where Bursar is.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like, I wanted to sue the school. Like, that's what we should have did. We should have all banded together.
That's definitely
20 people.
That's definitely a case.
Should have sued the school.
Especially, like, if you still had your, like, acceptance letter, like, this is what I'm reading, and this is what you're telling me. Grounds for a lawsuit.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's junior year. You're shit out of luck in regards to a master's degree that was really a bachelor's degree.
Yeah.
So is that when you added on your minor, or did you already have that? Like...
So that's actually when I added on my minor. Because at the same time that I was just doing physics, I was doing basically freelance design before I actually called myself a freelance designer.
Right.
So I would make like flyers for orgs. I would make digital art. I would make logos, website design for mobile apps. So while I was doing the physics, I was doing design as well. So I said I might as well make it a minor since I'm only getting the physics in my degree. Just to add something on. And that, I'm so glad I did that because now I have the knowledge of how design actually works, UX design, which is user experience. And I wouldn't be where I am now if it wasn't for that money.
If it wasn't for getting hoodwinked and bamboozled by your school. Wow, everything happens for a reason. Whoa. So right. So... like you said earlier, you knew you wanted to be a mechanical engineer. The process there wasn't as straightforward as, you know, one would hope or you thought. So are you in grad school right now?
Yes, I actually, so during junior year when I found that out, that summer and fall, I applied to only 2 grad schools. because I wanted to apply to a mechanical engineering master's program, but you would have had to take so many prerequisites before you even applied that it would have been literally impossible for me to do that. So one of my friends in the same department as me, Namdi, he told me about material science. So I looked it up. I realized that material science is the foundation of all engineering. It's literally like how materials are made, how they work, how to make them better. And you need materials for everything.
Right.
Materials are the reason why you have that big microphone.
Right.
The reason why we have FaceTime, like, you have everything. So I'm like, I might as well do a master's in that because that's the foundation. So I wanted to commute to school. So I wanted a school close to me. I'm in the Philadelphia area. Only Drexel and UPenn had the material science program.
Okay.
Carnegie Mellon did too, which is where Namdi goes, but that's in Pittsburgh, which is 4 hours away.
Right, which means moving to another
area and all that. That's more money. I'm trying to save money this time. Right. So only applied to Drexel and UPenn. God willing, I made it into both of the programs, but UPenn, which is the Ivy League, they don't give any money. I even called them to try to persuade them. And the lady, like, basically laughed at me and said, yeah, we don't give any money. We're really expensive. So she's like, okay, yeah, I'm sorry about that, and just hung up.
Wait, okay.
Yeah.
Like, they don't do, like, fellowships, TA, grad assistant. They said, take out a loan or be rich.
Yeah.
And how much is it to go to UPenn?
UPenn, it probably would have cost $120 for 120,000.
Absolutely not.
Drexel is probably around 60 to 70K.
Okay.
Drexel's not cheap either.
No, it's not. I thought
it's
about
50,000
right.
less than UPenn. Now I would have loved to went to UPenn because
absolutely.
Ivy League, you're bound to get any job.
Right.
It doesn't matter what you went to Ivy League for.
Right.
So of course I wanted to go there, but money, I went where the money resides.
For literally half the cost. Like, what are you paying for? What is so expensive?
The name.
No.
That's it.
We need a...
And it was virtual. Like, we're going to school virtually.
That's what
I should be getting charged online course prices, not an in-person price for tuition.
Right.
You know?
What is... Oh, no. $120,000 to do online school?
Yeah, like, we're not doing any in-person other than my research. That's it.
That's trash. Okay. So, noted. Penn doesn't give money. So, I guess, so you're doing Zoom University for grad school. Is your program 2 years? 1?
Yeah, it's 2 years.
Okay.
But Drexel is a little bit different than any other school. It's quarter-based for most of their programs.
Yeah.
Some of their programs are semester, but it's quarter-based, meaning that the first semester at a regular school, that's a quarter for Drexel for the fall. Now, for the spring semester for regular school, regular college, Drexel splits it into 2 quarters.
Okay.
So I will have a I have a winter quarter.
Okay.
From January to March, which I'm in now. I'm about to be done in March. And then from the end of March / early April to June is the spring quarter. Okay. So we start, like, the fall quarter doesn't start till the end of September. So we start late, and then we end late because we end in like the first week of June instead of like the first couple weeks in May or end of May. Right.
So you do have a break, like that June to September time is like summer, quote unquote.
That's like your summer break.
Okay.
But with my program, I applied to the co-op option where I had to have 2 co-ops for the summer and the fall. Okay. And during those 2 quarters, I wouldn't take any classes. I would just do the co-op. Okay. And then I would have just the winter quarter and spring quarter to finish, and then I'm done. I get my master's. Okay. So you're in school for 2 years, but like you're really only doing school work for, is that math, 4 quarters, 6 quarters? So, yeah, it's 3 quarters right now, 5 quarters. Okay. So technically, I'm trying to think. Technically 3 semesters.
Okay. Okay.
Like classes.
That's not bad.
So, yeah.
you know.
But like the thing is, you're not guaranteed a co-op, obviously.
That is also
so you have to.
That's
find,
a little
like,
stressful.
Yeah. So this whole 2 quarters, I just been constantly trying to find a co-op or an internship for the summer and the fall. So they give you tools. They have a job board where you can apply.
They better.
They have like I don't know if you ever used Handshake before. It's like a LinkedIn kind of, but for your school.
Okay.
So you create your account and your school puts in all of your academic work. So like the school puts in your GPA.
Got you.
So like you can't really change it. So
No. You can't finesse that.
But with Handshake, it's designed specifically for Drexel students.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll have recruiters just message you on there and say, hey, I think you should apply to this.
Okay.
This would be great for you. I want to send me your resume, yada, yada. And that's actually how I got some interviews this quarter so far.
They found you.
Yeah. Almost all my interviews that I did so far, I didn't apply to the job first. They found me first. And
Gotcha.
I applied after they told me to.
Okay. So it's working so far. Can't be the worst.
We'll see the end of this week. We'll see if it works.
Oh my gosh, that's too much. So do they ever go over what happens if you can't secure a co-op?
Yeah, so
not to be negative, but for the kids who don't secure anything.
Right. So if you don't, you have to take extra classes. So I don't know if that's during the summer, in the fall,
right?
Or you just have to do it during the fall. I don't know. I don't know how many credits extra it is.
But you got to make it up somehow.
I forget, but it's a certain amount of credits that the co-op is for the summer and fall. You have to make those amount of credits up.
Gotcha. Okay.
And in engineering, you don't want to do those because these classes and the professors are horrible. I have yet to have a good science professor.
Oh no.
So yeah, I don't know if they're too smart to know how to teach. Or they're just not trying.
It's one of those.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're so smart they don't know how to explain themselves.
But
teach it to somebody that doesn't know.
But it's what did you think teaching was?
Yeah. But that's the problem with professors in general.
Yeah.
They're not given a job because of their teaching skills. They're given a job because of their expertise.
Right. They have the degree and they have the experience. And the school is oh, you'd be great. But it's have you sat down and actually figured out what you're doing and how you explain it to people? No.
Exactly.
So in a quarter at Drexel, a full, I guess, full-time student versus part-time, that's what, 12 credits, 15?
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. But we have to do 9 credits.
Okay.
Per quarter, at least 9 credits as a full-time student. So part-time might be 3.
So 9 credits is 3 classes or more?
Yeah, 3 classes. Or you can do, because right now I'm doing 2 classes in research. Now for research, you can actually change your credit for the research.
To make
which
it
I
fit
never
for
seen
you.
that at college. So, say you want to take 3 classes, you can take those 3 classes, which is all 3 credits each, which is 9, and then do research and just make it 1 credit. So it's just 1 extra credit. Or you could just do research without registering for it.
Okay.
You just do it on the side and you won't get a grade for it.
Right. So something you can put on your resume maybe, but not. Okay.
But what I've been doing the research as credit because I believe at least 9 credits of research. So I'm trying to get them just out the way.
Okay. That's your school policy or your curriculum? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So 9... That's actually not even that bad. So as a regular Zoom university student, are each of your classes once a day and then they want you to write a 10-page paper due the next week? What's your course load as an engineering student?
The crazy thing is I took 4 classes, 3 classes and research my first quarter as a grad student.
And how was
part-time?
And how was that?
One of the classes was for co-op, just to get you ready to apply to jobs.
Okay.
That was the easy one. But those 2 classes was extremely hard. And one of them, I had to write a research paper. I had a project in our class, and we had homework, and we had 3 tests.
They were asking a lot. They were doing a lot.
And that was one class, not even the other class. The other class, luckily, only had a midterm and a final.
Okay.
I don't think we even had homework for that class. It was just a midterm and a final. So yeah. But now this quarter, I'm only taking 2 classes. Mm-hmm. I have a new research group that I'm in now because I didn't really like my other one. And I just started that one, so I don't even know what we're about to do for that one yet. And I'm taking 2 classes, but these 2 classes are the hardest classes in the curriculum.
Are they?
I'm taking them at the same time.
Science-based or math-based? Or both?
Both.
Whatever engineering is, I don't...
It's both. So, like... Ooh. And, like, it's going down right now, so...
How do you even... It's just what? Like, you need to, like, memorize formulas and, like... I don't know, the concept of engineering.
Understanding the concepts of different science techniques. So it's not even just like solving problems. It's like understanding how the problem was solved. And like, I have homework for these classes. One of them I have a quiz. And these are the 2 hardest classes. I'm taking both of them at the same time. But the thing is, once I'm done these 2 classes, like, the other classes shouldn't be that hard.
Right.
Like, I shouldn't struggle. But these 2... made me realize that grades in grad school does not matter. Like,
C's get degrees.
First of all, the syllabus for one of the classes, a 65 is a B.
Okay, let's talk about that, because I remember even like you and some of our other friends like being in the physics program and being like, yeah, we get graded on a bell curve, and so it's fine. And I'm like, what do you mean a bell curve? Like, why is what you're learning so hard that it can't be from 0 to 100? It needs to be like graded differently. Yeah. So is that the same concept at another school?
But I don't think my 2 professors now, I don't think they're curving. I think that they're just putting the grades, like the grade range is so low because they know people fail their class or like get between 60 to 80 out of 100. So, like, this is more so, it's not really to save us. I think it's more so to save themselves.
Right. Because
if a lot of people fail, then they'll lose their job.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if your entire class is getting between a 50 and a 65, what if that cause self-reflection to be like, wow, why is literally everyone minus like, you know, that one person who's always like, I got an A, but whatever. Like, why are all of these people failing? Maybe it's, what's the common denominator? Me as a teacher.
Exactly. And like, the thing is, they could be the smartest people in the world, have all the awards, achievements, all the accomplishments, but they lack all common sense known to man. So like, I don't get it. It's such a simple problem to solve. Like, they literally
just do better.
They're solving problems daily, and you can't solve the simple problem of making your material not that hard and making sure that everybody understands it.
Right. Or like maybe, you know, the goals of like how you want a class, like what you're supposed to learn by the end of this quarter. Maybe it's too much for a quarter. Maybe, I don't know, you could break it up. Mm-hmm. That's...
And now, like, Drexel, they cut one of the weeks for this quarter. Why? I don't know. I think it's because they just opened up the campus now.
Oh, okay.
Where people can live, so they wanted to postpone that, so they cut one of the weeks of the quarter.
Interesting.
So, like, we had 9 weeks instead of 10 weeks for this quarter. So, these 2 professors, now, they went full speed from day one because they're like, we missed a week. Now we have to go even harder.
No, you don't.
So, like, these 2 classes, I'm telling you, like, I know for a fact not everybody is passing these classes right now. Because, like, even in class, we go to breakout rooms with Zoom. And half the time, most people I'm talking to, they don't even know how to solve these problems. They're like, I have no idea.
See, but the thing is, and what I used to always hate is like we get into groups, even in like pre-COVID regular classroom, everybody's like, man, I don't really get it. I don't know. And then we take the test and suddenly you have a B or an A minus.
Exactly.
Obviously, you know something. So obviously you're lying.
And like most of my classmates, I don't even talk to most of my classmates, but most of them are international. They're foreign. Well, I'm like, this is the first time I'm a minority, but not because of my race. It's because of like I'm from America. So
fascinating.
Like, these kids or adults, because I'm in grad school, like some of them, one of my classmates, his wife just had a baby. So like that showed me right there. Some of them are like older,
right?
Like first of all, he has a wife, then he just had a kid.
Right, you have a family, sir.
I came to class today. I just had a kid. Like what?
Be like, so good for you.
So yeah, like these guys. One of my classmates, he turned his research paper in last quarter, like 5 days late, and I don't know if he failed the class or not, but he's in my classes right now. Both of my classes right now.
So, do you think you're probably one of the younger students in like your
for sure.
Your cohort? Is that what they're called?
For sure, but it's some people that are doing like the 5-year program.
Okay.
They're finishing their senior year and they'll finish the master's in a year.
Gotcha.
So it's some undergrads, like probably like 2 or 3, but
not
other
really.
than that, they look old. So
do you have to have cameras on the whole time? Or you have one of those professors?
Like for one of them, he's like, "Please turn your cameras on." And it's meanwhile, it's like 30 people in the class. So like, you're not looking at everybody. No. Especially when you share your screen. No. So I don't get it. But the other one, he doesn't really say it. But I feel like if you do show your camera and engage, they'll give you a better grade. So I try to, but like some days I'm like.
Yeah, I just feel like sometimes, especially in like a math-based class, like the faces I make just trying to understand what's happening in front of me, like I don't need 20 other people being like, she's confused. Yes, I am. I don't get it.
For sure, so.
Okay.
That's how it is right now.
Well, I mean, for the masters... But also, like, there's probably definitely no easier way to do this.
No. I'm actually really crazy because I actually applied to a PhD program in January.
PhD for
my previous research advisor.
Engineering?
Yeah, for research science and engineering. Because, like I said, I go to where money resides. This man told me that a PhD student at Drexel, first of all, they pay your tuition for the PhD program in full. Huh. You don't pay a dime for your tuition because you receive money to be a PhD student. And you have to be chosen by a research advisor to do like a project in their lab.
Oh, so, this is bougie.
Yeah, so they pay for your tuition in full, right? Then on top of that, you get paid salary to work in the lab. Now, the salary is like 26 to 30K. So it's not like crazy.
It's not moving out on your own and
right. But you're going to school and getting paid for it. Like I never heard any program like that.
Literally,
I don't know if other PhDs are like that, but
not that I know of, because I feel like I have seen like people just say like they apply to grants, fellowships, TAing, whatever. But no, I've never heard of.
Exactly.
We'll pay you to get this PhD. Okay, so you applied. How long does it take to get a PhD?
So for the one group I was in, it was like it usually takes 6 to 8 years for PhD in general.
Whoa.
But for the group I was in, he likes to do it in 4 to 5 years.
Okay.
Because you had to have enough material and data to then have a dissertation at the end and prove. Like, basically prove your thesis.
Okay.
Like, that's how you get your degree. You
Gotcha. So,
if you pass it, you get your degree.
So some, I guess, programs are 6 to 8 years because it's taking 6 to 8 years to get all this damn research and data.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, like...
Oh, my God.
But what happened with that, first of all, my research advisor, he was a good guy. But, like, his vibe was like off. Something was off. Like in August, before I started, I told him I wanted to be in his research group because I liked what he was doing research on. So I had a Zoom meeting with him, and he's like, "Yeah, and if you do well, this quarter we could talk about PhD. So I'm like, oh, I never even thought about PhD. Like, first of all, I need to get the master's first. I'm not even thinking about that.
Right.
But then he told me to talk to like other PhD students in the lab about it to see like how it is.
Okay.
So I asked them, because I'm like, this is like 6 to 8 years of your life. So like, how are you making a living? And they're like, oh, they're paying me for it.
You said, like, sorry, what? Come again?
I was like, they're paying me. And he's like, yeah, we get like, I'm like, how much? He's like, you get like 28 to 30K. I'm like, so yeah, that's the most I ever seen since I've been working. So especially coming from undergrad, all we can do is work part-time. Exactly. So like, we never seen that money before. So I'm like,
especially if you ain't got no bills.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, so is that how you pay tuition? And he's like, no, we don't pay tuition. I was like, huh? What do you mean you don't pay tuition? He's like, we get funded to do the PhD program. So like, they pay for it in full. I'm like, what? Once I heard that, I was like, I don't even care if I got this. I want to be in the PhD program. And like, one of the people in my lab groups, my previous lab groups, he was a master's student too, who transitioned to PhD early and just foregoed his master's program and just went straight to PhD. And like, the crazy thing is, master's students and PhD students, they both take the same classes except for like a few.
Okay.
PhD might take like some seminar classes. But other than that, all the PhD students I know are taking the same classes I'm taking right now. So like, technically, you can get your master's while you're getting your PhD.
Right.
So once I heard that, I'm like, yeah, I want to do it. So I applied. But like before I applied, he was kind of giving me a hard time saying like, yeah, I didn't see some of your work in the lab. I don't know if you're really serious about it. And it was all through an email. So I emailed him back saying, sir, I work part-time while taking classes, while applying to jobs, while doing research in your lab.
This is not my life.
And I had a 3.7, my first quarter ever in grad school for any type of engineering class. This was my first time doing it, and I got a 3.7. While doing research in your lab and submitting data to you. If that doesn't tell you that I'm dedicated and that I really want this, then I don't know.
Right, like what is his comparison? Like somebody who didn't leave his side, huh?
I think it's because of COVID, because usually he'll be in the lab and see like the work you do. That's the excuse he gave me. But once I emailed him that, like in a formal way, obviously.
Right.
It was like 4 paragraphs worth of an email. So
right, because how dare you?
And then I told him how I had my 2 own businesses. I freelance design and I had a math business on top of what I'm doing at school and work.
Like,
so sorry. He was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. He's like, I didn't mean it that way.
Yeah, as you said.
Then like the next week, I get an email saying I was nominated for a award for my dedication for college. And I'm getting like a little money stipend, whatever, for next quarter. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, now he's trying to guilt trip me.
Right.
Like,
how convenient.
Hey, my respect. So then I have a meeting with him after that, and he's like, yeah, I didn't recommend you that after we talked. Like, I did that months before. It just came in now, though. So I believe him. I don't know. I don't think he was lying about it. But yeah, so I applied to the PhD program. But I still was catching like an off vibe. Like once he said that to me, I didn't really like him like that.
Yeah, because
I'm like, you don't even believe me, so why
right? Because you can say like, I don't really think you're dedicated without saying I don't think you're dedicated.
Exactly. So I was just like, yeah, it's kind of off, and then I started to not like what I was doing in the lab. Like I was working with a $500,000 machine. Like the guy that was teaching me how to use the machine, he told me he almost broke it.
Now why would
the first time he used it? And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to use something like that.
Right.
Not a $500,000 machine. Like
not it
you
be
break something on that,
my problem.
It'll cost $10,000 to replace. $10,000 right there.
And they probably have it in the budget, but I don't need that on my conscience.
So I was like, I didn't really like what we were doing, so I started to search other ways. And the guy that was actually teaching me to the machine, he told me about this other professor named Gagasi.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like a renowned scientist in the world. He's Ukrainian. And he has like over 20 plus people in his research group, ranging from undergrads to master students to PhD students to postdoc. And he even has professors in his lab. So like, once I did my research on him, and then I set up a meeting with him because I want to create my own electric car brand.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to do that, you need a battery.
Mm-hmm.
So he's doing research in batteries and energy storage, like solar energy and all that. So I set a meeting with him telling him that I want to do that. He told me one of the people in his lab previous years ago created some type of like invention, and now he's a billionaire right now.
Oh.
I said, yeah, I need to go in your lab group. If people are becoming billionaires in your lab group, you're doing something right.
Not only is your resume thick, but you're like people have been successful because of, you, low key.
Exactly.
So, let's make this happen, please. And thank you.
So once I heard that, I was like, yeah, we need to make this happen. So I told him that. He's like, you need to speak to Dr. May because we don't fight for students. So like right after I talked to him on Zoom, I guess he had a conversation with my other research advisor before I had one with him the same day.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, yeah, I heard you were talking to him. He was like, yeah, if you want to go to his group, I'm completely fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like he wasn't even mad about it. So like I knew like he didn't really want me in his lab. So like, and then I'm like, so how does the transition go? Like, do I still have my PhD application? Do I have to apply with him now? He's like, yeah, you have to apply with him now.
Interesting.
And like, yeah, he's like, you can either stay with my group and then transition to his, or you can just transition to his immediately. So I said I want to transition immediately.
Right.
So now I'm transitioning to the other group, and I just had to write a report to the other one, my previous one, about like what I'm doing in the new one because I'm still enrolled in his group and I have a grade for it. So that's how he's gonna grade me.
Interesting.
I already gave him a report before, so he's gonna grade me on those 2 reports. So yeah, so now the group I'm in now is 20 plus people. The research advisor I had, he literally said, we'll see how you do in the spring quarter when you register. And if you do well, I'll give you a summer and fall co-op, where you work in a lab. I'll pay you for it. And then if that goes well and I see the potential, then I'll just offer you the PhD program. And then you won't have to work part-time anymore. That's literally what he said to me. So I'm like, oh yeah, he's talking about the money. So yeah. We need to go with him.
You know what? Okay, universe.
Yeah.
Come through. Okay. Exciting. See, it's always the stuff like that happens in like school and college. And you're like, okay, maybe this wasn't the worst choice.
Exactly.
But also, you're also struggling in 2 of your hardest classes. So
yes.
Good. Oh, so then I guess as like a PhD student, I don't know if you know this, but is it strictly research now? And like you said, towards the end, you write that dissertation, research, whatever, or do you still have to take like regular classes?
So you still have to take classes in the beginning. Like I think the first 2 years you take classes.
Okay.
But like as you're taking classes, you're working in a lab. But the thing is, if I do that, I wouldn't have to work my part-time job.
Right.
I'm getting paid to work in a lab.
Right.
I might do it just because I might feel bad because I'm a leader at my job. So like,
you don't want to feel like
it's definitely gonna be a hit if I just quit. But like,
listen,
based off this money and like
a month in advance won't kill them. They'll be okay.
I might have to just quit or give my 2 weeks because if I'm making money like this, by the time I finish my PhD, once I have my PhD, I should be able to get a really good job.
Right.
Or I'll be applying the job before I even finish. So like.
Right. You'll have, whatever co-ops you can get now. And then 5 years of research showing this. Like, what else do you need as a science person?
So now, like, I'm at a crossroads because I can either go the design route.
That's
true. If I get this internship with Capital One or whoever, whatever design, and I do a design internship and they might offer a full-time, I can either do that and just forego the master's, or should I stay with engineering, try to get an engineering internship, secure a job, or go the PhD route?
It's options.
Like, I have a bunch of options I can go.
And it's nuts because, you know, like, would these circumstances have happened had we not been in a pandemic?
Right.
You know?
I feel like if it wasn't for the pandemic, I don't know, I would definitely be going to grad school still.
Yeah, you would still be studying.
I don't know. Because the interview I just did, that was supposed to be an interview where they fly you out. To the company.
Oh, yes, and budget.
Like, yeah, and like you stay in like a hotel, they pay for it, they give you food and all that. Like, this is supposed to be an in-person interview. I'm glad it wasn't though, because I just used my study guide the whole time.
Right.
I just had it on the side of the computer.
Exactly. Listen, you gotta finesse it.
Yeah, like a lot would have been different. And I would have had to drive to and from Drexel. Like, I probably wouldn't have even had a part-time job at this point. Because I would have to travel to and from Philly. That's like 30 minutes from me.
Yeah, it takes out time.
Like, yeah, highway, traffic.
You know,
it would have been definitely different.
Perspective. That's nuts, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so the future is looking bright. Any you know path you go, it's looking good. But right now, you know, like, do you feel like doing school online is like impacting your mental health? Is it just like, okay, another obstacle, we're moving on, you know? Do you actually miss getting to a classroom and sitting down?
I do. I miss it because I learn better in person.
Yeah.
Than online. Especially, like, I absolutely hate online math and science classes. Mm-mm. It's just so hard to learn. And, like, I feel like I have to literally be there to understand math and science. And I never took a math and science class online before. It's my first time ever.
Oh, no.
So, like, it's definitely a struggle. And I feel like the professors are not changing their curriculum based off of the times at hand. Mm. Like, we're in a pandemic. We're all going through mental, physical, emotional stress.
Right.
And you're giving us the same curriculum as you would if we were in person.
Like, how does that make sense?
Like, this doesn't make sense to me at all.
Right.
And
like I can be
us to pass.
That too. Like, there are so many distractions, you know, at home in general. But I have to do one of the hardest classes online. You know, do they even have office hours virtually?
So they do, but it's all virtual. And like once you get in, the last week I had one because he said I need to go to office hours. Like, I'm not doing good. So I went to his office hours, and it was a guy in there. He asked at least 10 questions. I was in there for 30 minutes before I could actually talk. And so, like,
yeah, and that same thing was happening in person too.
Yeah, that definitely happened in person too. But like at that point, I'm like, I don't even know what I'm about to ask.
I forgot my question.
At this point, like, I forgot my question.
I don't know why I came here.
Also, it's limited. Like, I only can talk to him at like early in the morning on one day, or another later on in the day at another day. So like, I feel like in person you could go to his office randomly and just see if he's there. If he's there, you can talk to him. Now is very limited, very structured. He only has like 1 hour to talk. So that's that.
Wow.
It's just a struggle.
It really sounds like it. And all your classes are math and science. But at least, you know, after you get through these 2 classes, fingers crossed it's going up from here.
Yeah, like right now, I'm just trying to pass these classes. Like right now, I'm passing. Like barely, but I'm passing.
That's all that matters.
I just need to keep that going. That's the only thing I'm worried about right now. If I pass these 2 classes, I'll be cool. Like,
C's get degrees.
Yeah, especially in grad school. Like grad school, everybody keeps telling me that. Even people that are older than me, people that are in grad school now, it does not matter what your grades are in grad school. Like the fact that you're in grad school is the accomplishment.
Exactly. Imagine saying you have a master's and then a job wants to be like, oh, so what was your GPA? Why does that matter?
Yeah.
I have a master's.
They just care about the degree you have or the degree you're pursuing. Now, some job like some job postings say like at least a 3.0. Even for grad job openings, it says like 3.0. Like one of them said 3.5 that I applied to. I'm waiting for them to respond to me now.
They said smart people only.
But yeah, and that was a grad internship, like an engineering internship, and it said 3.5.
Oh, absolutely not.
So I think it's only just to weed out people they just.
Yeah, but like, interview me first before you just see my GPA and you're like,
Yeah. Like a person with a 2.5 could be smarter than somebody with a 3.5.
Absolutely.
Or have better experience.
You know, I can't speak for, you know, engineering classes, but what is half the population of students doing? Cheating, you know?
Exactly.
So what are we doing here?
Especially now. My one professor literally said, I can't see if you're using the internet or not, so you can use it in the test.
And that's the thing, like, don't put me in an online class and then expect me to not use materials that are readily available.
Exactly.
Also, why do I have to have these things memorized if, like, in a real job, I can go back somewhere else and reference what I need?
Yeah. That's why I hate tests, like, especially the GRE, like, SAT, all that. You're not going to not have the tools needed to take a test or answer something in the real world. So, like, why do I need to memorize that? Only place I feel like you should memorize it is if you're a physician.
Right.
Like,
right.
Some type of medical field.
You can't be like, wait, where's the liver? You know?
Somebody could be dying. Yeah, somebody could be dying. You don't know where the heart is. Like, like you need to memorize for that. But something like design and engineering, what do you need to memorize that for? It's not like you're trying to solve a problem right then and there, or you have to solve it, or you're going to die.
Exactly. When I'm in Adobe and I can't figure out what's going wrong, what am I going to do? Get on Google.
Exactly.
And figure it out. Like,
I don't get it. That's why I hate tests in general. Now, that's the only good thing about this virtual thing, is that you can use your resources.
That's true.
Because in person, you would definitely have to memorize every single thing.
Imagine, like, professors allowing you to use your notes and then you're still getting it wrong. Then that's the problem.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, that's what's happening now.
But, like, damn.
Yeah.
Wow. And, you know, I'm learning new things every day. Science. Interesting. But, Josh, thank you for this riveting story. Your life is very interesting, also very exciting. Like, the potential for good things to happen it's up there. So I wish you nothing but the best.
I was waiting, seeing what's going to happen.
As you should, you know? Everything happens for a reason. Not this pandemic, but...
Yeah.
You know,
it kind of did, but...
Kind of, but, you know, did people need to die? No.
Yeah,
but
true.
Also, you know, like, things just expand more when people just need internet to, like, do something.
Yeah.
Wow. Good stuff.
Imagine if we didn't have the internet and digital stuff we have now. Imagine this in 1950.
Going to the library and then being scared to go to the library because germs. It'd be over. You know, we're supposed to learn something from this. I don't know. It might be wearing a mask all the time, or...
I mean, if you look at it, COVID is going to be treated like the flu now.
It is.
In a couple of years. So, like, hopefully we get past it like that.
Right.
And it'll be like a seasonal thing where during the season you just want to bundle up and take the vaccine, whatever.
Oh, yeah. And then it also makes you, you know, why were we on, like, public transportation without a mask on?
Yeah.
In hindsight, why am I on a plane with a bunch of people I don't know and we're all breathing in the same air?
Closed environment. I mean, you have to wear a mask, but, like, the mask is not completely closed with its own air. You're still breathing in the same air that everyone else is breathing.
Nuts.
And out. So,
you know, it's the year of realizing stuff once again.
Yeah.
All right. But thank you, Josh. I appreciate your insight, your perspective, and good luck. Good
Thank
freaking
you.
luck.
I appreciate this talk.
Thanks. I appreciate that. All right. So for today's mindful mantra, I actually found it on the internet, and there's just something so powerful about it. I just had to share. Today's mindful mantra is I create my life on a quantum level. There are endless opportunities. I don't know about you, but I kind of felt that. Okay? Let me repeat it. Just for the moment. I create my life on a quantum level. There are endless opportunities. Are you kidding? Like, point blank, period. So think about that today, tomorrow, next week. I create my life on a quantum level. Quantum? Top tier. That's what I'm saying. So once again, thank you for joining me for today's episode of Just Our Luck podcast. You will be hearing from me again next week. And keep creating that life on a quantum level, people. The possibilities and the opportunities are endless. Bye.